Jucy is a tourism business based out of New Zealand with operations in Australia and the US and now in Canada as well. We offer camper vans and rental cars. We also have accommodation through our business called Jucy Snooze, which is pod hotels, and an experiences business that runs boats in the Milford Sound of New Zealand. So the Liverton product for us was all about improving the customer experience and removing the friction around the process of checking in to one of our Jucy Snooze pod hotels. So it's really the whole idea around actually removing the pain points that the customer goes through when they do check in or check out of a property, and actually automating that and giving a much better experience on the way. Yeah, I think the number one advantage we discovered from using the product is the sense that our staff can actually spend more time with the customers, letting them know what's happening in the property or what's happening in the local area, as opposed to being audit takers. They're actually people who can give information out and give a much better experience. Yeah, I think when you look at doing anything you want to get a return on those funds employed, return on the investment. For us, we gauged not just the financial benefits of removing the requirement to have lots and lots of staff, but also the customer experience side of it as well, and the ability for us to provide a better customer experience, which then in turn leads to hopefully more repeat business and better reviews on travel advisory channels. I think from the start we always wanted to have something which was a little bit innovative, but it wasn't about just being different for the sake of being different. For us, it was about mapping out that customer journey and saying, well, how do you remove those pain points? How do you remove the friction? So I think we always wanted a solution which was going to be next generation, and I think that's the reason why we're very keen to look at what probably the airlines have done and other industries have done to improve that customer experience. Yeah, I think the criteria for us was it going to A, enhance the customer experience? Was it going to B, reduce the requirement for our staff to have to manually audit take people's information and details? And thirdly, was it going to provide a much greater customer experience for our customers? And I think if we ticked all those boxes, the Liverton product did that for us, which was great, and enabled us to achieve our desired result, which was just a much better experience. We probably did what every other hotel or backpackers or hostel did around the world, which is basically, took the customer's driver's license, passport details, wrote down all their details, asked for their address, asked for their credit card, did it all very manually, and meant people had to queue up in line to check in or check out of a hotel. Yeah, I think there's always a concern when you take away that human touch point. If the flow in terms of the kiosk flow wasn't right, if it was difficult to use, if it was not thought through in a systematic way, it could actually become more of a hindrance than a help. So for us, it was really important to get that technology flow right to enable that much more speedier, better process for the customer. Yeah, I think it's like anything, it's constantly evolving. I think the first iteration, if I look back now, probably is a huge difference to what we've got at the moment, and lots of improvements along the way. So you're going to take what you've got and you build on that, and every day you're trying to think of something different to improve that experience. So I think the iterations throughout the time and the next ones that we do will be far greater than the ones we have today. Yeah, I mean the number one reduced cost you can measure is just literally staffing hours. I mean, if people are self-serving, whether it's checking in or checking out, it does remove the requirement for multiple people at check-in. So that's an important metric to look at. We didn't probably set out to take out staff costs. That wasn't the absolute driver. We always thought that if we got a much better customer experience and removed all the friction, that the cost would come out as a direct result, and I think it has done that. Oh yeah, I think for us it's ongoing improvements. I think that's the beauty of having something which you can constantly enhance and continue to keep developing. I think for us, the kiosk is an important part of the tool at the moment, but I think long term, we'd like to see a lot more being done on smartphones, on devices, on smart screens, which the customers are carrying with them. They can do it pre or post arrival at the property and do a lot more stuff on their phone. So that's kind of the iteration that we're moving to next. Yeah, I think for me, the favourite feature probably is the ability to have our customers, scan in their own driver's license or passport details, and by capturing that, it just shows to them that we know exactly who's staying in the property. It's very much great for security, and when you've got people who are sleeping in the same rooms as other people, whilst they're in their own pods or in the same rooms, security is a big component to this. So the ability to actually manage that is really critical, so it's great to have that. I think it would be a very different place. I mean, we'd still provide a great customer experience for our customers. We would just have to have a lot more people to be able to provide a similar sort of process from a transactional perspective. So, look, I think you'd find other ways of doing it, but definitely the ability to speed up their process and actually spend time with the customers doing more than just transactioning is actually really beneficial. Oh, everything. Love everything about my job. No, I think what I like the most about it at the moment is that it's forever changing, it's fast paced, we're doing new stuff, but we're also trying to improve the stuff that we've always done. So it's kind of looking at the future, but making sure we've got the current just right. I think the biggest challenge for our industry is that it's constantly evolving, and if you're not ahead of the pace in terms of product development, innovation, technology, you're going to easily be left behind. And the customer has a lot greater voice now. It's got, in the past the customer probably couldn't voice their opinions on good and bad and ugly as much as they can do now. There's lots of travel forums. Every booking engine has a review component to it. So customer experience and being user journey and user centric is critical. So if you're not those sort of way inclined, I think you're going to really struggle. Oh, I think the key is really making sure you continue to evolve, take the feedback of what works really well, what doesn't work, and have that product continuously evolving so that you're always providing a better product and service. So I think if you can communicate and if you can work closely with the partner, with Liverton, to be able to do that, then we're going to actually build much better products. Oh, I think we looked at different industries. We looked at the airline industry and how they sort of took what was quite an antiquated industry and sort of revolutionised it in terms of the customer-centric approach. We've looked at other properties, other hotels across the world. We travel a lot, so we get out and stay in other properties. And I saw one in London called Citizen M, which I stayed in, which had a full automated check-in process, and I thought it was super cool, and that was probably what we wanted to adopt. So just take an opportunity to look around the market. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You need to do things better, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah, I think the difficult thing in this game is that you got to be ahead of the market, and you got to look at the people who are leading that. And we saw that Liverton had done this work prior and they'd worked with other properties, and so we knew there was a history there, which was great, which gave us the confidence to then go ahead and talk to the guys about doing it for what we want to do it here in New Zealand. Yeah, I think there's obvious benefits from a customer perspective and a user perspective, but there's benefits by instead of it did before. If we didn't have the kiosk, we would have staff, and we'd have multiple staff to do check-in. So there's going to be a benefit just in terms of a payroll perspective, and there is definitely a cost to this type of technology. And when you implement this, there's definitely an initial capex outlay, which is quite significant for any business. But the ability to actually get that return on funds employed, return on investment back. I think the hardest thing probably to understand is what the benefits are by providing this great customer experience. Does that it's very hard to quantify if people are going to go out there and tell all their friends they've got to stay at Jucy Snooze because the process is so easy. We know it's happening, but it's hard to quantify it. Yeah, I think like any new technology or product, you're always going to have challenges along the way. I think for us, some of the challenges were just simple things around passport scanning or driver's license or card distribution, or you're always going to have challenges when you're at the forefront of doing something which a lot of people haven't done before. I think the way to resolve those is to communicate and talk to your partner and say, you know what, how do we make this better? How do we fix the problem and get it so, because if it's a problem for us, it's a problem for Liverton. So, and I think if they have a combined approach, then it works and you get there in the end. And definitely at the start, we had a few teething issues along the way, but you get there in the end, and then you get a much better experience. Yeah, so I mean, I think we've put it into Christchurch, we've put it into Queenstown, and again we've improved each one along the way. We've got a new project on the go at the moment we're about to announce, which is a much bigger project with a lot more rooms, with a lot more beds, which is going to be really exciting. So the idea is to continue this concept of frictionless check-in and check-out and trying to enhance the customer experience. So yeah, absolutely love to see us take the concept and replicate that in new properties that you go into, both in terms of a kiosk offering, but also in terms of an automated app-based offering, which can take it to that next level in terms of what we wanted to offer a customer. Yeah, future's looking great. It's looking very green and purple. It's one of those things at the moment. Tourism's a really hot space, which is great. There's a few challenges in some industries and some aspects of our industries and our business. There are a few challenges, but I think overall, people want to travel, and I think if you can be innovative in your product offering and your approach, then you can win in what is a really competitive market.